Good day, my name is Marijon Igo, and welcome to my presentation in this course project, which is the CS6207, the Principles of Programming Languages with Compiler. So in this course project, we are tasked to make a presentation video. So in order to explain the activity 1 and activity number 2. So without further ado, let's proceed with activity number 1. So in activity number 1, we have in letter A, we have 2 here. So but first we are going to tackle this one first. So in letter A. So first, as you can see, we have a block of codes here. See, we have a, and then we also have the final output here below. So let's find out if this block of code will output the same as this one. So what I did is I just copy all of this code here and paste it here in this our VS code. So as you can see, there are lots of highlighted, like this one, last name, country. So meaning there are errors. So meaning this code will not run. So let's try to run it first to find out. See, there are a lot of errors. So about syntax error. So the program did not run. So let's clear this first. And let's make it big first, that it will be easier to see. Okay, this one. So upon looking this one, I found out 3 problems or 3 errors. So the first one is the variable case sensitivity. So and the second one is the incorrect use of quotes, and the third one is about typecasting. So the first one is the variable case sensitivity. So we all know that Python is a case sensitive. So we should be careful in using the variable name. So it should match with the variables that was being declared or defined. So like this one, we have the variable first name, last name, and country. So as you can see here, in the last name, it's not the same with the last name here because last name here use the lowercase letter L, while the last name here use here is the uppercase letter L, and here is the lowercase letter L. So they are not the same. So in order to solve this issue, so we have to change this one here, and also the country here, and also the age here. So as you can see, the age here is declared as a small letter A variable. Okay, and we have here a capital letter A. So they are not the same. So we should change these 3. 1, the last name, the country, and the age. So let's do it now. So we'll change this one. And also this one. So 1 here is capital, and then so we should change also to capital. And also the age here. So okay, so it is now solved. So let's proceed with the number 2, the incorrect usage of the codes. So as you can see here, we have a code which is a single code, and here is the double code. So we can use either of the two. Whether we will use the single code, and for the double quotes, this time we're going to use single quotes. So it should match here. So single quote here and single quote here. Okay, so the problem for the usage of quotes is now solved. Now let's proceed with the about typecasting. So as you can see, we have a variable here which is named year. So, and it accepts input coming from the user. So we use the input function. So we all know that input function by default will return a string literal. So that's why we're going to use a typecasting method in order to transform the string literal into an integer. So we're going to typecast. So by doing this one, so we will type int for integer, and I think input we lack one, and also we lack one parenthesis. See, so we will add one parenthesis here. Okay. So, and to make this code more easy to read, we are going to also to use some white spaces. So like this one here. See? So we'll use white space. And then we can use also a space here and here. Now, see, the code now is easier to read, so much better from what is before. Okay, so as you can see, we don't find any more errors. So now let's check if we can print this one or output the same as here. So Elon Musk is from USA. He is the founder, CEO, and chief engineer at SpaceX. So do you want to know how old he is? And then the program asks you to enter the current year. So enter the current year, and then he is now turning 50. So the program will tell us so how old he is now. So he's now turning 50 here. So let's check. Let's move this one here. So let's move this one, and then so let's check. Let's find out. Let's run. So Elon Musk is from USA. He is the founder, CEO, and chief engineer at SpaceX. So correct. So do you want to know how old he is? Correct. And enter the current year. So the current year is 2024. So we're going to hit enter. So he is now turning 53. So we solved the issues for our activity number 1. Let's check again. Enter the current year. He is now turning 50. Okay, so we solved the activity number 1A. So now let's proceed with activity the second activity from activity 1, which is the activity 1B. Okay, let's proceed with letter B. So as you can see, we have also another block of code here, and we also have the final output here. Okay, so first what I did again is I copy and paste the code here in this and in the VS Code. So as you can see, directly the VS Code spotted one error here, which is the days here. So, and let's find out if there's still another error for this one. So, but first, we're going to try to run this program first and check if there's really an error. So see, so we have a value error, so invalid literal for int, and with base 10, so enter your birth year. So we also have another problem. Okay, so let's clear this first and close this one. Okay, so in order for us to spot the errors easily, so again, to make this code more readable, we're going to use white space. So I think we'll move this down, create a space here, and also here. And space, space, oops, space, and then move this down here, and also this one. So clearly, we have one issue here, the days function here. So let's check. First, we have the new di is equals to 365. There's no problem here. So I think no di stands for number of days in a year, which is equals to 365. So we have a print statement here. Do you want to know the estimated days, how old you are today? And we have a comma. But I think this is okay. I think comma will not disturb the program or will not cause an error. So we will leave this one for a while. So what about here? We have a variable YOB, or the year of birth, is equals to int, and then we have the enter your birth. So since this is an input, so this one needs here to input the user, coming from the user. So I think this one, this one will accept input coming from the user. So but there is lack of the input function. So like here at the bottom below here, we have input, enter current year. So this one is okay, but this one here is not okay. So what's lack here is we have an input function missing. So let's correct it first, and by putting an input here, and parenthesis, and then input, and also the closing parenthesis here. So and input, and then enter your year of birth. Now this is okay. So we have a typecast for the year of birth because this is integer, and we also have another typecast here for the input, the current year, which is also should be also an integer. So that's why we are typecasting it here. So okay, I think, and then we define days old with parameter days, and print UR, and then days, and this days old. This is string literal. And then so the days function here is the problem. So this is wrong calling of the function, because days is not defined, because the one that defined here is the days old. So we are going to change this one into days old. So we'll add, okay, you can click this one. Now it's this. Then what about just like this? Okay, so I think this is now okay. So let's try to run the program. So this object, no DI. Okay, so let's run. So do you want to know the estimated days, how old you are today? So enter your birth, enter your I mean year of birth and your year of birth. Okay, so my year of birth is 1980. And then enter current year. So current year is 2024. And then hit enter. So you are 16,060 days old. Okay, why? Why is this 16,000? Let's check it first. Oh, because of this formula here. So year to date, or the YTD here, year to date, or the current year, minus year of birth, and then times no DI, or the number of days in a year, 365. So that's why it equals 16,060 days old. Okay, so let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4 output. 1, 2. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 output. So that's it. And now let's proceed to activity number 2. So this is our activity number 2. Which is we're going to create a basic Python program with the following requirements. So I'm going to explain my code one by one along with these steps here. Okay, so first I'm going to show you my I think this is the title of the program, so which is the contact tracing form program. So I have also created this title. So now let's go to our VS Code. So as you can see, this is the title of program or our headings, and as you can see, I've created a blank print here. And after that, we have this one. So my purpose for this is to just to make our title to stand out, and also uses spaces so that our title will not stick below the introduction of the like this one, introduction of this program. Okay, so this is it, and later on you can see this one. And so let's proceed with number 1. So our first task is to prompt to enter your name. So we are going to prompt the user to enter their names. So for example, this one. So prompt to enter your name. So this is number 1 task. So I defined, I made a function and defined it and use a name, get name. So because we're going to get the name of the user, so that's why I named it get name. So we always practice this get name on our previous, especially in C++ and Java. So under this get name function, I declare a variable named name and is assigned to input. So which is coming from the user. So meaning the input coming from the user will be stored in the name variable. So, and since this is not a void function, so this function must have a return value. So that's why we have a return here, and the value is the name variable here. Okay, so this is our function from our task to prompt the user to enter their names. Okay, so let's proceed with number 2, which is to prompt to enter your temperature. Okay, so this is my number 2, prompt to enter your temperature. So I also made a function named it get temperature function. So because we're going to get the temperature from the user. So under this function, I also declare another variable which is temperature, and is assigned to input function, because we are going to we are going to prompt the user to enter their temperature. And aside from that, I also typecast it to a float, because the input from the user might contain a decimal. So that's why I use a float here. So I typecast it with float, this one. Okay, and again, since this is not a void function, so it must have a return value. So I also have a return, and the return value is the temperature. Okay, so let's proceed with number 3. So set of questionnaires. So we're going to make a set of questionnaires containing symptoms of COVID-19 at least 5. So see, so this is my number 3, set of questionnaires containing symptoms of COVID-19 at least 5. So but I made, I think 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, I made 7 questionnaires here. Okay, because when I research, I found out that there's a lot of questions, but I only get for me, I think the most relevant or most important one. So like you have headache, fever, cough, sore throat, shortness of breath, and body aches, and especially the loss of taste or smell. So okay, so in here I defined set of questions as a function. So I defined set of question function. So this function, under this function, we have declare. I declare a name again. So name, and then I assign it to get name. So meaning this variable name here will get the name what is being entered by the user here. Get name. So whatever entered here will also go here. So in this name variable here. So and also the temperature, and also I also assigned it to get the temperature here. So whatever entered here, so it will also go here. So and I declare another variable, which is a less data type variable. So that's why, so that I can make a less out of it. So this is a less data type variable. That's why I have a less here, a less of questions. So 7 questions. separated by a comma. Here, 7 questions. So after that, I also made another variable, which is with COVID symptom. So I named it with COVID symptom, and this is a Boolean type data type variable, and I initially give the value to false. Okay, so in order for to print the question one at a time or one by one, so I made a loop. So that after the first question will appear in the program or the computer, so after the user input their answer, so after hitting enter, then the second one will also appear and ask the user for an answer. So when the user answers again, then proceed with another question until all the questions are being printed in the program. So that's why I made a loop. So in the I use a for loop. So under this for loop, I declare a symptom question. So which is I mean for this one, for each question. So this is the symptom question in COVID symptom question. So this one. So I also have an if statement. So if symptoms from symptom question, and then we have here with COVID symptom is equals to true. Okay, so it is important that this is equal to true here, because if we will change it to false, then if one of the answer is yes, because we are tasked here like this one. If one of the symptoms, like this one here, if one of the, you may be infected with COVID-19, if one of the symptoms of COVID-19 were answered yes, so only one yes. If the user will answer even only one yes, and this is false here, so all will print here, you have no symptoms, even if this should be the one being printed. So that is why it is important to make this here a true value. Okay, if I will not forget, I can show you later about this one. So I'll just write it down. So I hope I can remember it. COVID symptom. True. Okay. So let's proceed. And so our task number 4 is to use modular codes. Okay, so I already did this one because there are a lot of functions, as you can see. So this is modular code. Function here, function. So a lot of function. One. So this is done, and then use conditional codes for each question, yes or no. So this one, a conditional code. See? See? Okay, for number 6, we have for the string outputs after answering all the questions. So let's proceed with letter A. So display the name entered and the temperature. So we have here for the string outputs, and display the name entered and the temperature. So we have to display, so I use the print. print statement. So as you can see here, in this first print, I use an F string. So this is a formatted string literal. So this is a way to embed expression inside string literal. So it allows to include the value of the variable. So include the value of the variable, like for example, in this situation here, in this case, name. So it will include the value of the variable name here. So meaning whatever the input from the user, for example, I input my name, Marijun. So the name will appear here is not name but Marijun. So because if we're going to take down or take out the F here, so what will print here is the name, not the value inside this variable name. Okay, so that's why I use this F string literal. Same also in line number 2, in this one, in line 45. So print F, I also use the F string in order for the value of temperature will be printed here instead of the name of the temperature, name of the variable temperature, because without this F here, so the temperature will be printed, so it will become temperature and then the degrees. And this one without the F, it will become name and then semicolon and then name, not Marijun. So this is the explanation for this F string literal here. Formatted string literal. Okay? So next, you may be infected with COVID-19. So if one of the symptoms of COVID-19 were answered yes. So if one answered yes. Okay? So this is my so if one of the symptoms of COVID-19 were answered yes. So if with COVID symptoms, so I use an if statement. Okay? So if with COVID-19 symptoms, this one here, so I use this one, this variable, and it will print you may be infected with COVID-19. So as I've said earlier, that if this is true, it will print you may be infected with COVID-19. If he answer yes, one of the questions. Okay, and we also have an else here. So this is not just an if statement but if else statement. Okay, so now that's for letter C. You have no symptoms of COVID-19 if all of the symptoms of COVID-19 were answered no. So here, if all of the questions were answered no, so this time it will print you have no symptoms of COVID-19. So I use this one, this blank print here, just to make space. So our program will be, or the output will be more readable. Okay, this is the purpose of this one. So I just put this space. Okay, let's proceed. And the last one is, please review your answer. Start over again. So if a question was not answered correctly, so this is my letter D. So and then terminate the program. So I defined, or I created a function. I name it symptom questions. And then inside under this function, I also declare answer, which is the response coming from the user, assigned to our input, either the user answer yes or a no. And I explained this one already about the F string. And then I also use an upper function in order the program will accept either an uppercase or a lowercase letter. So I also have an if statement here. If answer not in yes or no, this time it will print please review your answer and start over again. So and then it will accept the program. So this is the task to terminate the program if a question was not answered correctly. For example, here the user asked yes for a yes or a no, and then he answered maybe, so it's invalid. So that's why it will print this string here, and then the program will accept. So we have a return, and the value is answer is equals to yes. And my last line in line 63, set of question function. So here I call the set of questions function. So meaning to say, when you start the program, first this will be printed here, this one here, and then after that it will call the function which is here to ask the user a question. So I think now it's time for us to test the result of these codes I've created. So let's start again with prompt to enter your name. So now we're going to run the program. So going to run. So as you can see, as I've said, so I just make a space here to make our headings more readable, and also a space here, and I also enclose this one like this one, just to make it beautiful to look. Okay, so now the program has to enter our name. So Marie June, then Egot. So this is it. So after you enter, so the next is please enter your temperature. So I think this is number 2, to prompt your temperature. So we will example, my temperature is 36.8, and then enter. So do you let's say so number 3, and the set of questions. So now we are proceeding with the question. So do you have a headache? So no. So as I've said earlier, we can answer this with an uppercase or a lowercase. Let's try with a all capital or uppercase. See? Okay. So again, do you have a fever? Let's try with capital, and then the O is lowercase. So do you have a cough? This time let's try no with all lowercase. Do you have sore throat? No. Do you have a shortness of breath? No. Do you have body aches? No. Do you have loss of taste or smell? No. So after that, if we enter, so this will print this one. So this is for here. to display the name entered and the temperature. So this one, name, Marijon Igot, and the temperature is the input coming from the user. That's why I use the F string. See? So the one being printed here is the input coming from the user. And the final output is you have no symptoms of COVID-19. So why? Because we answered no, this one in letter C. If all of the symptoms COVID-19 were answered no, so that's why we have this output. You have no symptoms of COVID-19. So now we're going to try this one. You may be infected with COVID-19 if one of the symptoms of COVID-19 were answered yes. So even only one. So let's try this one. So let's clear this one first. And then let's start over again. So please enter your name, Mari June Igot. Enter your temperature. For example, my temperature is 41.3. And do you have a headache? No. Do you have a fever? What if I said yes? Okay, only one. And then no here. Then no here. Then no. No again. Loss of taste or smell? No. So, the output is name, Marijon Igot, and temperature is 41.3 degrees Celsius. And you may be infected with COVID-19. So, this one, you may be infected with COVID-19. Okay? And I think this is the last part. Please review your answer. It will print this one. Please review your answer. If a question was not answered correctly and then terminate the program. So if the question not answered correctly, so it will print this one, and then the program should be terminated. So let's try that one out. Okay, let's clear this one first. Okay. So again, for example, again, June. And then we have temperature is 36. It's just 36. So do you have a headache? No. And in here, do you have a fever? I will answer maybe. See? So the system will print, please review your answer and start over again. And as you can see, the program is now terminated. So it's now terminated. So demonstrative Python programming. Okay. So I think I've already explained all of the tasks here. And so I think that's all. So thank you for watching and have a good day. Thank you. Bye bye.